My name is Bruce Gillespie. I'm an associate professor in the Digital Media and Journalism program here at the Brantford campus. I teach a lot of our practical courses, so I teach students about digital and social media, storytelling, reporting, interviewing, that sort of thing. I think the nice thing about an active learning classroom is you can do so much with it, which can also be the challenge, because I think, especially if you haven't used one before, you can sort of find yourself thinking that you need to use every piece of technology in the room, which becomes very complicated very quickly. So I think it's easier to start out with a couple things you can do with the classroom and move on from there. I think one of the best things about the room is that first and foremost, I think it sends a really clear signal to students as soon as they walk in the room that this is not business as usual. You will not be sitting in an active learning classroom and sit through a 3-hour lecture. It's not built that way. It's not going to happen. So I think that immediate sort of notice that something different is happening here, and chances are it's going to be participatory, is fantastic. I think the other way to capitalize on an active learning classroom is to really focus your teaching on activities, active learning, group work, because that's how the room is set up, and it's really what the students are engaged in. I do all sorts of things in the active learning classroom when I'm teaching there. One of the classes I teach is called Designing Digital and Social Media. So it's a workshop in which we try to learn and teach students about all different kinds of digital and social media as it relates to journalism mostly. So some of the things we do are teach them how to create quick interactive Google Maps. So the nice thing about the active learning classroom here is that we have 7 or 8 different screens, so that if the students are working in small groups, we can actually see all 7 screens at once and sort of look at the differences between one map to another without someone every time. We can look at them all easily at one time without students coming up one at a time, plugging in a jump drive, loading their map, taking a moment to load it, all that kind of stuff. In an active learning classroom, it's really easy to see all that stuff as it's being created. All at once, you can see the differences in how people are using them differently. One of the other things I like doing with it is practicing live blogging. So we actually have a guest come into the classroom to deliver a lecture of some sort. And again, with all the screens around the classroom, we can sort of have different groups live blogging it as you would for a newspaper website or a TV website. So you can actually see in real time what they're recording, what they're missing, and you can get a really good comparison of how different groups are doing it differently and what those, in a really good way to develop a set of best practices. So it's really good for students to see in real time what their own work is doing and what everyone else is doing as well. So I've learned a bunch of things since starting to teach in the active learning classroom. One is that there's slightly more technology I need to learn how to use, which was fine. It just took some time. But I think it also has really encouraged me to think about my teaching in a really concrete kind of way. If you're doing the same old thing you've always done in the same old classroom you've always been in, there's not necessarily a lot of impetus to do it differently or even think about why you would do it differently. But as soon as you move into an active learning classroom where you cannot do the same thing you've always done in most cases, it really forces you to think about what can I do differently here. So it's really made me think about how to create more active learning experiences for students in the class, more group work, and sort of more sort of peer teaching models as well. I've told everyone I know that they should be trying to book the active learning classroom for any of their classes. I think it's a really great experience for faculty and students. I think my one piece of advice would be, because there are so many different kinds of technology in an active learning classroom, don't think you have to use them or master them all the first time you do this. It's probably safer to, focus on 2 or 3 pieces of technology you're going to use them really well, and then add on more, next year or the year after that. But I think it's well worth doing. It's a really great experience for faculty and for students.